just all the influential, important people with lots of money that Epstein was connecting to government officials at the island, to the bank as well. His ongoing kind of relationship with Gates, which is, these messages to Gates people are 2011. So that's after he's already a known sex offender. He's been convicted. He got his house arrest or whatever kind of deal he got for sexual misconduct with underage girls. So you can't say, "Oh, I didn't know." It was known. It was known by then. There's some joking about Miley Cyrus, who at the time of this is 15. She's a Disney star at the time.
Okay, so let's not forget the big detail here that of course Billy was the one pushing all the last 3 years. Turns out what happened a while ago where he blamed his maid for having all the pee he was pushing on his computer. He said that person took the responsibility for it, right? And then we had the Melinda interview, the supposed wife, who said it was really weird and creepy, Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein's relationship, and that, she didn't really know. She kind of knew, but didn't. She knew enough to know it was creepy, but knew little when it came to court, I guess. So, she had left him because of that. So, yeah, very interesting how the guy who's on Epstein Island doing pedo-pogo activity is the guy on the news everywhere pushing all of the treatments that everybody needs to take for their safety, right? Uncle Bill is what I call him. You were saying, Steph, you were hollering there and grunting?
Yeah, I was just saying, with the land purchases and remember, let's not forget the million trillion hypodermic needles flying everywhere, started in Florida, genetically coded hypodermic needles, so to speak, flying mosquitoes.
Snafu creature. There's no way you could have known this, but this is synchronistic. Watch this. Where is it? Where is it? One of today's top stories, Snafu creature. Outbreak. Rare outbreak. Mosquito-borne snafu creature.
Thank God it's winter.
You remember when we covered here that the Gates creature was releasing all the robotic mosquitoes?
And remember the commercial was the Grim Reaper, the subliminal New World Order messaging. But what I wanted to point out with the Gates thing real quick is they're bringing up the Gates thing. They're bringing up the Epstein Island thing. They're even talking about Julian Assange. Why, ladies and gentlemen? Because they're focusing off the transition of power with this, the migrants joining law and policies. The United Nations is making more moves than you probably even know. There's a lot of things. So all this stuff with the
hold on, Snafu creature. This person's saying conspiracy theorist clowns. So now it's a conspiracy theory that Billy came out, said we're releasing.
Do you remember?
Robotic...
I'll pull up the commercial. The commercial where it showed the Grim Reaper and they were promoting Mosquito Week.
Hold on, Larry's down there. Larry Pullett Silverstein is down there, who made a bundle off that insurance money. Go get him, Larry. It's good to see him down there. Larry,
dude, I've been talking about Gates' dumb little dude. What, Larry? See, Larry probably the frogs are gay, dude.
Right. Okay, let's go. Since you brought it up, we'll segue and then we'll jump back. Rare mosquito-borne disease. 2 to 10 days of quarantine you're going to need for this one. Just start breaking out.
On news, Argentine health authorities have
and Billy's totally not behind this. I'm not saying that. Some folks might say that. I'm not saying
or WEE. This is the first confirmed human case reported after more than 2 decades. And the last human case were reported.
Hey, remember the time that Billy brought a mosquito to the TED conference, released it in the room, and laughed and said, "I'm releasing a malaria mosquito in the room with everyone." Ha ha ha. And everyone was like, "What?" He's like, "I'm just kidding."
You know what? I put the link in the in your backstage. I know I keep going in and out your back. Sorry, but the fact is, this was on Bill Gates' YouTube channel, official YouTube channel, Bill Gates. This was during Mosquito Week, and if you look at the subliminal messaging, not only are these the 1,000 hypodermic needles flying around, but the Grim Reaper in a setting of desolation and isolation. The subliminal messaging is all here, guys.
Well, and you can't say it's a conspiracy theory when you look it up on the internet. You find such profound abundance, such profound abundance of the topic, and he admits it in many different ways. Don't call it a conspiracy theory. It's a fact.
It's a conspiracy, really, sir.
Gates notes. See, Billy's on it. Billy said there's going to be more pandemics to come, going to be more biologicals, and
Billy Bob.
One quote from Bill Gates. One quote from Bill Gates.
Excuse me. So it's over 2 years ago that he's releasing the TED Talks and the rest of it, releasing mosquitoes and saying they're going to take people down, and creating Mosquito Week on Gates Notes, where he shows the mosquitoes as Grim Reaper. Go ahead, folks.
Well, a quote from Bill Gates in December of 2022, just a year ago. We have projects operating in 14 countries, and our Wolbachia mosquitoes have protected almost 11 million people. So it's not that it's any kind of conspiracy theory. It's in 14 countries, admittedly, and
right. But the thing is you missed where some folks would say those mosquitoes are harming people. He told you they're protecting people. So those mosquitoes that are being released are for safety. Those are safety mosquitoes.
Right. And you'll also notice the verbiage is our Wolbachia mosquitoes. He is claiming that they created these mosquitoes. Obviously.
For safety, though. That's the thing. You're not mentioning the safety part. Your thoughts, Snafu Creature?
Oh.
All right, let's get back to it. We got to run through these. Easy, Snafu.
Well, just remember the top
No.
scientists have.
No. That's why I said easy, Snafu Creature, because I knew what you were going to do. As soon as I get back to it, you're going to penile power me and try to drag me back out into the deep waters with you. I know what you're doing. We got to run through these. Creepy Bill Gates Epstein.
So that's a clear inclination of an awareness of exactly the kind of thing Epstein goes for. It's disgusting.
Yeah. I think
very disgusting.
It's a bit of a lens into what the world is like for bankers in America at the very high level. The emails that Li Fong posted to Twitter, you have one from a Mary Erdoes at jpmorgan.com official email to an unknown person saying, obviously they're at a party. This is, really late at night. The first email is about 8:30. This has turned into a cheesy broker fest. Totally not cool. The only cool people here are at Glenn's table, same as bat mitzvah. So maybe they've known each other for some time. The response is at 1:20 a.m. Epstein there with Miley Cyrus. And so this is like official JP Morgan emails where this exchange is happening. Was Epstein actually there with Miley Cyrus? We don't know. But the fact that they made the joke shows that these bankers on their JP Morgan emails are comfortable joking about the billionaire being out with young girls.
They were comfortable joking about a lot of really sketchy stuff. We've read these emails in the past talking about who's your favorite Disney princess. Mm-hmm. It suggests a deep familiarity with the kind of bad and illegal stuff that Jeffrey Epstein was interested in and had already been convicted for, would eventually be arrested for again. Yet right up until the very end, I've talked about this several times, but I think it's always worth bringing up, including given her, recent crusade, the higher media profile she has sought for herself as part of the pushback from Democrats on Twitter files and on RFK Jr. Stacey Plaskett, the delegate of the Virgin Islands, has been front and center at these hearings, accusing, Matt Taibbi of perjury, accusing RFK Jr. of anti-Semitism. Stacey Plaskett, delegate of the Virgin Islands, trying to get Jeffrey Epstein at her fundraisers as recently as 2018, I believe, the year before he was arrested again and then died in allegedly because of suicide in prison.
Yeah.
This was someone with full
Allegedly.
knowledge and awareness of.
Yeah, allegedly everyone's tied in. Allegedly he died from suicide. Big surprise. Russ, you're feeding back.
Greetings.
Feeding back. All right.
I'll try to leave and come back.
Probably not going to work. Probably the device. We've been doing this for months now. You and I done this for months. Probably not going to change. So just get the headset. Help us out. Okay, Billy, Epstein, all the rest involved. Trump's involved, but he's not, of course. They're all involved, but they're not because they all work together, but they're not. Hello. Stop making me fight for airtime on my broadcast, please. I know I talk a lot. All you got to do is wait for me to stop. That could be a couple seconds, could be a few moments, could be a half hour. You never know what you got here. Maybe you do know what you got here. That's why it should be that much easier to just conform to a simple instruction. Please don't talk over me and make me get loud and have to get in a resistance state. I want to be in a flow state while I'm here. I know that's an ironic term. You were saying grunting, rather?
I was kind of sorry. No, do you remember when Bill Gates put out the tweet saying if we put the stuff in our foods, they would make the hesitancy go away, the hesitant citizens?
I got it.
So he tweeted about roofing everyone. So all you motherfuckers that think that we're conspiracy theorists, when he put out a shitload of biological, genetically modified hypodermic needle mosquitoes, when he tweets about the hesitancy, people not wanting to take his stuff, his soup. I mean, okay.
Russ, you're feeding back.
All right, man. We'll catch you guys later. We're traveling, so it must be.
All right. We'll see you later. 6 months this guy's been doing this with me. It's fascinating. 6 months or more. I've been telling Russ, feeds back every time. You got to get a headset. It's the device. He leaves and comes back. It's just, I have to do this. Commentary. Okay, can we move on, Snafu Creature? Are you going to let me move on and do what I need to do, or are you going to, like, keep dragging me back out? Great.
My whole thing is the optics.
I'll see you later. That's the thing. It's that quick, right? You're there the whole time. You say nothing. I just asked him, can we move forward? You got to drag me back out, and you go and do the exact thing I'm asking to not do that you're known for. So now I got to kick you from the studio because we're not playing games with Paulie Boy at the front of the room. It's not what we're doing. I'm not your daddy. I'm not your teacher. We're working together. We're contributing to the conversation. We're going with the flow, or we're going out. See? I'm not the pathetic worrier. I'm not slow state. I'm not Jack Slavecott. I'm none of them. So go there if you want absolute chaos and insanity and lack of purpose and meaning and structure. We're not doing it here any longer. We did it for too long. Lost a third of the audience. Not going to continue it. Thanks. Thanks for your cooperation, fellas. 63 anti-Israel protesters arrested after disrupting travel at major airports. Snafu Creature. Oh my God. It's happening. The civil war, the fear porn.
The pro-Palestinian protesters causing chaos at two of America's biggest airports on one of the busiest travel weeks of the year. Demonstrators blocking streets, causing massive headaches for holiday travelers. Good morning. I'm Mike Emanuel, in for Bill Hemmer. Good morning, Molly.
Good morning, and I am Molly Line, in for Dana Perino. This is America's Newsroom. Protesters held up the expressway leading up to JFK Airport. Police say the protesters threw objects at officers, assaulting two of them. Protesters carried banners with messages like, "Divest from genocide" and "Let Gaza live." A similar scene playing out at LAX. Bumper to bumper traffic stretched as far as the eye could see across all three lanes.
Police making dozens of arrests at both airports, most on charges of rioting. The protests come as New York City goes on high alert. Mayor Eric Adams says the NYPD is taking precautions to prevent anti-Israel protesters from disrupting the New.
Hey, here we go. I have someone else's nonsense now creeping into my existence. Snafu Creature, can you... Oh, Snafu Creature just ran off. Snafu Creature, could you come back, please? I don't know why you just left. this person seems to believe that they heard you on the Machine Cries broadcast, which has become the new sounding board for all beta bitches who want to whine and cry about their daddy. Apparently, he wants to know if you said that you were gonna, in front of everybody, come over here and put me in my place and call me whatever it is. What was it? A cuck bitch, right? To my face. So again, I mean, it's not like I could do anything to you through the computer. It's not like I would do anything to you in real life. You could come in my face. Excuse me, not come in my face. You can't do that. I know many of you want to do that. You can't. It's a family broadcast. And you can't do it off the broadcast either. But you won't come to my face, rather, and call me a cuck bitch. And if you did, I probably wouldn't do anything back and say, okay. So where does that go? Right? I mean, nobody's going to put their hands on me. Nobody's going to take who and what I am and what I have. Nobody's going to impede my success. So what do I even really care what the fuck other people think and feel and say? To be completely candid. Snafu Creature, are you there, sir?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, let me get some music for the occasion.
Can you hear me? Wait, I missed a lot of that because the connection died, but I got back. But I know what this meta fucktard's saying. And I told him, I've told you to your face if I disagree with you or not. He's pissed off because you tell people to share wives or some shit like that or whatever. The whole monogamy bullshit, fuck shit. And it's all because he was defending, I think, who are you defending? Host Cake, the Feds, Proud Boy motherfucker?
No, I'm saying the reality of it is the reality of it is that you all want to make up these terms to pad your insecurity. You're all sharing bitches. Like, I'm really not interested in what you all think and feel about it. Every one of you's got bitches who are all running around town right now fucking other people, and probably not you. So where in your life, in your relationship, do you get these one or multiple women who are stuck to you like glue and don't fuck with other guys? So you either accept that that's the nature of things and that's going to happen because it already has happened, or you pretend like it's not going to happen in the future like it always has.
Doing what you got to do.
Yeah, that doesn't make me a cock for taking life on life's terms. The reality of it is I'm not going to fight a woman or another man for having interactions with each other, even if that's my woman.
No,
right?
You know what? It was because it was something about the witch talk or some shit, and they're like, why are you telling fucking Paul who fucking you call these fuckers out, but Paul says he'll fuck your woman or to share your women out or something like that, blah blah. They're just
it's
trying
real
to
simple, bro. I know a lot of you neurotic, broken children can't figure out how life works, even though you've been supposedly living it.
Yeah,
if we get on the land and he brings Abby there, first of all, she already ran off. But the point is, if you bring your women there and there's other men there who are more prosperous, more intelligent, more well-spoken, and better lovers, they're going to take your bitch. Right. And they're not going to have to do anything to have it done. It's just going to happen naturally. So you can fucking hate the player or hate the game, or you could just elevate and replicate. Because ultimately, that's all the process is for all of us, is we look out into life and look back in history and we elevate and replicate to our highest good and faithfully to the highest good of everyone else. So what could you tell me about my life that I'm living with firsthand experience that I get results with?
And see, I'm actually glad you fucking said something about this, because you corrected your record. Meta's trying to make the narrative saying that you're preaching that, I'll take you to the... No, you're just being real about how that shit would go.
I'm saying that nobody's above the program. Like, if you're confident in yourself and your life and your relationships and results, then you would know that if you got on the land and you had something going, that obviously at some point women and people are going to take to you. And they're going to want to walk with you and experience with you. That's called being an attractive being. So,
hey, Meta, why don't you just get your bitch ass up here on the panel versus emailing him? Get your ass up here. You got a lot to say. Come tell daddy. Come cry to daddy.
Yeah, it's not cucking when you realize many of you folks are just horrible partners. You're boring. You're uninteresting. Your conversation is garbage. Your discernment is even worse. Your plan and your purpose in life is trash. You don't serve anything except a bunch of other bitch-ass corporate motherfucking slaves. So why would anybody want to fucking co-create with you? If I got all those things on the opposite side checked off, what are the odds that certain motherfuckers aren't going to find me attractive? That's how it's supposed to be. Inherent hierarchical power and value system. You can't run from yourself. Motherfuckers will run to a self that has all that checked off because they either want to be with it or they know they need what that being has or is experiencing. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's something right with that. It's only when you find something right in you that that experience shows up. There's no faking that funk. There's no fronting. You know, it is what it is. And then you see the results. And then you realize the reverse engineering of how it all comes about, cause and effect. So the reason these clowns go full migtard is because somebody took their bitch at some point. Didn't take them. Their woman up and left because they weren't doing and being shit. And some guy came along who was physically or probably all three on some level, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually attractive and had something going on in life. And it's only a matter of time if you're a woman sitting up under some bozo before you jump ship when something like that comes along. She'd be a fool not to. Your thoughts? Your thoughts?
Oh, when I tell Paul's wrong, but we've had that talk.
Well, yeah, I don't know what this like. I don't know why. I don't know why you're. I don't know why you're.
They're trying to say.
I don't know why you're so egoic and childish and foolish that you still fall prey to this dynamic of having to go against Paulie Boy to assert your dominance and position in life. I just host a broadcast. I just do what I do here. I'm not like the benchmark of what you all need to do and be necessarily or go against. So the quicker you stop falling into the pattern of having to justify to other weak beta males how you'll go against me when necessary doesn't prove anything, because I'm rarely, if ever, completely wrong here. You rarely, if ever, have a reason to go against me. When you do, it never goes well for you. So that's enough to tell you to just drop that fucking line of thinking and argument. There's just nothing beneficial in it for you or anyone else. It just makes you look lacking in confidence and understanding, inspiration, and empowerment, and co-creation with me. If you respect me and what I do and we're aligned, why are you so afraid to proclaim that? You don't have to be a simp for me. You don't have to fucking go anywhere and promote me necessarily. But why do you fall victim to, oh, I'll go up against him and tell him when he's wrong? And what? What does that prove exactly? Like on either level. Like, first of all, it never happens because it's never going on lately, because we've come to an understanding, as we should have from the beginning, because I was right and true and you were claiming I wasn't. So even if you will go against me and tell me when I'm wrong, then what? Now what? As if I'm going to necessarily change who and what the fuck I am, what I'm doing and what I'm saying, or as if you or Machine Lies or anybody's going to do a fucking thing about it. So what's the point of even talking about this fucking nonsense other than, once again, being a part of the gossiping, drama, soap opera, beta male bullshit online that goes nowhere and just kind of convicts you?
That's what I was saying. What they're trying to do is change your narrative, and I already see what they're doing, so there's no point. That's why I didn't even really respond to it or get all crazy. That's what I was trying to tell you from the. I see what they're saying, and they're changing narrative. Like, they want me to go after you. If I did feel like I'd say something, I'd say it. They don't want me to go
God
after you.
forbid the next time somebody was talking shit, because they see you here every day and they see me letting you up when they hate you. And they go, why am I giving you a platform? Because I'm slightly entertained with you and because I believe you have some discernment, as long as you don't fucking make me have to work so hard to keep you in line where you know you should be, right? Other than that, it's like, God forbid you all just went, the next time people tried to hate on me behind my back, just went, Paul's the real deal, and we've been through it for a year and a half, and we know where he's at and where he sits, and he's not necessarily wrong about any of this shit. So God forbid you just stood on what the fuck we all know or suspect or what your experience has been, instead of play this game that you'll beat up daddy if you have to.
Well, no, they're trying to change the narrative. They're trying to say the monogamous thing. Since I go
you'll
after
do
all
the
these
same
other
thing
people,
if we were doing time in prison. You'd be in the fucking cell with me bullshitting and giving me all these people gossip when I don't give a fuck. And you'd be telling me how you realize after a year and a half, I'm the truth and I stand on something. And you'll still be out and about in the yard and around telling people, oh, I'll check him in the cell when he's wrong. Oh, I'll go against him. And then I have to hear about it through these motherfuckers instead of hear some static from you. What's the point?
That's what I'm trying to say. I don't feel what they're trying to say you're doing wrong. They're trying to say that you're doing something wrong. It makes us look weak in our
association, bro. This is why you guys can never be part of a group of men of honor, because you'll go speaking bad about people or trying to prove something about someone you fuck with out in public with motherfuckers you don't even fuck with like that. It doesn't make no sense. Why would you put down someone who you fuck with, who you respect, to try to prove something to bitch-ass motherfuckers you don't fuck with and have no respect for? It doesn't make any sense, and it makes you look like a bitch. Doesn't mean nothing about me. The fact that you motherfuckers are always thinking and feeling and talking about me says enough. I'm not even there. I'm not even watching. I don't even give a fuck.
Well, and that's what's crazy. They want me to like go after you over shit that I don't give a fuck about. I don't care how Paul feels about women or what other men feel about they're losing their women or fucking.
Bro, these guys talk about shit they don't even have an experience with. Right? And I've given you the whole game about my life from top to bottom, good and bad. So you can't act like I'm fronting here. I've told everybody my history with women and the dark past with my mother and all the rest of it. But these folks are talking about fucking women and knowing about women. They don't even know themselves and what their life purpose is. Many of them are fucking poor and broke, living on Section 8. They got no fucking job or no career, no purpose, no prospects. They don't want to do and be better, and they want to laugh and giggle online and waste 8 to 10 hours a day hating for free. Good luck. Even when I was poor and broke and didn't have no prospects, I didn't spend my fucking time hating. I spent my time learning and growing and developing. What would a motherfucker waste time hating for and talking about other men? Foolishness. Either get to something or shut the fuck up and go sit in your hole and go back on your drugs. Wasting everybody's time with this nonsense. Acting like you're good with yourself and your life and your relationships. You're not. And then you want to shit on me when I am. Get real.
Well, see, and that's what I was trying to say. I don't even really get what Meta was trying to tell me I need to call you out on. Like, they think that that's his feelings, his presentment, his way, his beliefs on his shit.
How are you going to call me out when you've never given a woman something different to ride on that helped change her life?
Well, you've said
mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. When I've done that 3, 4, 5, 10 times already, you've never done it once. How are you going to speak on my experience when you haven't done it yet?
Meta and them are just trying to find something to get me to go at you about. That's all that shit is. That's what Meta's trying to do. Say, hey, Snaps.
Bro, these guys got whole relationships with women where all they do is fucking talk bad about them and run off and say they ain't shit. Enough smoke that leads to fire, right? So when all of your bitches, one after the other, leave you, excuse me for using the term bitches, but the bottom line is with most of these beta male bitch boys, they're attracting in beta bitches. They're not real women because they wouldn't have been with them from the beginning. But even the beta bitches come around you and hear your bullshit and stick with you and leave after a little bit of time and got nothing but a negative report. You didn't give them nothing in the eyes of game, understanding of self, thoughts, emotions, actions, purpose, finances, none of it. You didn't give them shit. And that's the report. And I'm supposed to respect you and all the women. This is pimping rules 101. All the women who come out from up under you say you ain't shit. And you think I'm going to respect you? I don't have that problem. I don't have that report. Greetings, Frank.
Good afternoon, Paulie. Good afternoon, Wizard. And hello, Officer Snaps. Did I miss policy enforcement? I hope not.
Okay, now he's going to do the thing where he goes quiet. So I'm going to move on. Snafu Snaps, thank you for your commentary. We're going to move forward. Frank is here now. The Israelis, did we do the Israelis protesting, overrunning airports? We did that. Iran is already at war with the U.S. Expert warns. Did we do that? think we did that yesterday, but we knew that. Russia launches massive aerial attack on Ukraine. So we're ramping up with all of the players. Axis of evil.
Ukraine's government says Russia launched 122 missiles at targets overnight, the most since the war began. At least 30 people were killed. The missiles hitting multiple cities across Ukraine. Homes and a maternity ward were caught in the crossfire. But the Ukrainian Air Force said it intercepted most of those missiles. In a statement, President Biden called on Congress to pass more aid for Ukraine and said the attack is a, quote, stark reminder to the world that after nearly 2 years of this devastating war, Putin's objective remains unchanged. He seeks to obliterate Ukraine and subjugate its people. He must be stopped. For more on this, I want to bring in CBS News correspondent Elaine Cobb. Elaine, thanks for joining us. Let's start with the very latest on this attack from Russia. What more do we know?
Chanel, this was a massive attack. It hit across the country, hitting the capital, Kyiv, of course, but also Kharkiv, Lviv in the west, which had been largely spared in recent times, and also Odessa in the south. Now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Russia hit it with everything in its arsenal. And the Ukrainian Air Force said they used missiles, they used drones, and they used many missiles that are very difficult to intercept, which is why they managed to hit so many areas. People were hiding in the metro just as they did 2 years ago. Now, many observers are saying that this, because it came somewhat out of the blue, things have been much quieter there, that they believe Russia may have been stockpiling some weapons and planning carefully this widespread attack right across the country.
Elaine, talk about the international reaction to this latest attack.
There's been condemnation across the board and right off the bat. The United Nations human rights body immediately called
And they're busy
on Russia to halt
this last few
attack.
months. They've been busy,
the European Union said that Russia should stop, condemning it. Here in France, the government
What are your thoughts, Frank, about the mounting wars between nations worldwide? That seems to all be coincidental or conspired, some folks might say, just right on time. Everybody warring with everyone, economies collapsing, digital currency proliferating. As of next few weeks, the word is ETF will be released. Is it all organized? Is it all random coincidence? What's going on here?
So I like to judge each war independently. So the Russia-Ukraine war, they really should have just had a martial arts tournament. They should have wrestled for whatever land. So they're just wasting money with that war.
So these are all just random events, coincidences. Russia, Iran, China, and others aligning with each other against all nations that are aligned with each other. It's all just coincidental and random, bringing about a World War III talked about 200 years ago as a plan.
A lot of people have their plans, and most of the time you have plans, you don't actually implement them, and that's kind of a hard thing to do. Now, on the Israel-Palestine war, Israel needs to stop playing games. They need to hurry up, bring up the big guns, to stop playing around. You can finish it in literally a weekend. So just hurry up.
That's the thing, though, Hank. I think that there's Tribe, right? Tribe is very intellectual, left brain, worldly intellectual, but I think that some folks are missing the intuitive component here. That kind of, the energy within the space between the things or the events, right? And the connection.
I think someone would just disagree about that statement about Tribe, but move forward.
No, that's the thing. You didn't listen. You were too busy trying to fight Tribe and project. It was a backhanded compliment in a sense. Like I like to speak about the left brain, worldly, intellectual folks who lack right brained emotional intelligence or the intuition to kind of put the pieces together and read between the lines. Again, maybe I'm projecting, but from my perspective, these are far from random coincidences. As you know, this is all organized and designed. It's all funded and spoken about. I give you the Clausen video for a year and a half of him saying all the major wars are funded, all the major wars are done on purpose. We all attack ourselves in order to go to war and spread our demo crazy. And you keep telling me they're all individualized events, they're all just random chance, and they're all just one nation against one nation. But it's not, because your Israeli lobbyist said, some folks might say it's all organized, it's all created, it's all funded, it's all false flag. Some folks might say, I didn't say that. Clausen said that. Right. And then you chose to not believe the Israeli lobbyist who was standing on stage looking left and right while he was basically giving you the whole game in favor of this idea that most likely nothing could be that grand. Right. This is the failing of the human being. Can't consider a God that could have a program that runs with everyone, all places, all time. Can't conceive of a world run by a force or a group of people that's pretty much put themselves all places at all times, even to the point of listening in on all of us, admitted. I mean, when is everyone going to get a clue here?
So I was literally just asleep like 10 minutes ago. One of my muses is a let's say a logistics deity. These people are too stupid to coordinate on that wider scale. These people are just too dumb to do so.
No, the active participants on the lowest levels are too incompetent, incapable, and corrupt to get it done completely without a bunch of chaos along the way, which is perfect because these are agents of chaos, order out of chaos. But at the highest level, to me, it's highly organized. It's highly funded. There's a lot of time, energy, attention, and resources that go in. There's a lot of stratagem, and it's a very long game. And then you got to get the humans to carry it out underneath. So if you want to go to a low-level structure and organization, that's one thing. I'm talking about councils on foreign relations, United Nations. I'm talking about global consortiums and groups who meet, who regularly admit that they're shaping the whole planet, the future of everybody involved in this realm, indefinitely, some might say, going right down to the cellular level of our biology. So I don't understand how we're still at the point with many folks where they go, this is all random chance, it's all coincidence, it's all individualized events.
Cool.
When we just had the last 3 years showing that it was just that easy to control a whole world and get them all to lock down and take whatever it is you tell them they need to take and wear whatever it is you tell them they need to wear. I mean, this isn't that difficult. And again, then once you admit that it is true, then you have to cop to the fact that it's all for everybody's own good and safety. Which
I would love to admit it's true, but they had me still working all the way through the lockdowns when they're supposed to.
Okay, so how did the last 3 years go through? If everybody's so incompetent and it's also disorganized, how did the last 3 years go through? How did everybody get their stimulus slavery? How did everybody lock down? How did everybody know what to put over themselves and what to do?
If I
it was highly organized, it was highly planned, it was highly effective.
If they were ready, they would have been able to take my job and get
highly effective and safe, worldwide, without boundaries, seeming to be ubiquitous, omnipotent, omnipresent, but yet ineffective with a small group of folks who will not submit or concede.
Hank, you got to think of it this way. When other than shady business, so to speak, Antarctica, I could say, is one of those, have you seen allies and enemies be on the same page? The world was shut down. You just mentioned it. All coordinated. These FFs all coordinated. These big CEOs dropping out, leaving their businesses and going to Switzerland, and bankers and this and that, JP, Disney,
selling off stocks, buying stocks, preparing way ahead of it, putting their money in certain positions, knowing what was going to happen, tripling, quadrupling up, pulling out, pumping and dumping. It's manipulation central, just like
and then the World
and all
Health
the rest.
Organization telling you it's all coordinated. Like, I mean, they're literally telling you, motherfuckers, it doesn't matter if you're in our country or not. You're gonna follow our rules, and we're gonna control your vehicles, and like all coordinate. Like, what the fuck?
Bro, you know how simple this is to prove? All Elon has to do is tweet something, markets rise and fall. Go watch the history when Elon goes on Twitter, tweets one line, and a stock falls 40%.
Yes, yeah, you
That's
can
just
get
one
hyperlink
retard out
together.
there has the ability to influence 40% of a market to rise or fall based on his
Just
one
think about
line
that, man.
ambiguous tweet. And
He
you're going to
couldn't
tell
keep
me
his
mine and
hyperlink
Mark's
together.
doesn't exist? And
With
it's
all
not
his
possible.
research, he couldn't keep his
Big
hyperlink
optics,
together.
Paul. That's the truth. These motherfuckers, you don't get it, Hank. It's third parties, it's money, it's contracts, it's
They should have been able to replace my job with
Big
robots.
tech,
They
big
could have
business.
coordinated, but they kept me working anyways. They should have been able to remove the goddamn package around without my help if they had everything together. And they didn't.
You
They
think
weren't
they
ready.
give a fuck about you?
Hold on,
and your
creature.
health?
I got to thank Jeremiah J. He said, for fuck the haters, Happy New Year. Thank you for your gift, Mr. Jeremiah. Much appreciated, sir. Go ahead.
No, apparently because they didn't have the robots ready. Like I was told they would have ready.
Hank,
So
you just
they-
made a statement and said my health. Who
Help,
cares about
my
your
health? They didn't have the robots ready to replace my job, like I was told by the, let's say, coincidence analyzers. The coincidence analyzers said that the robots was going to replace my job, and said, "Now you,
I'm lost, dude.
keep
I'm
working.
lost.
You don't get the you don't get locked
Are you
down.
talking
Keep
to
working."
an A? Did you download that AI friend bullshit? And you got like a new, they're doing the AI friend shit, and they're like,
you don't want to address my issue.
He comes on
I
Paul
was
and
told
Slavia,
by
so we're gonna like tell
coincidence
him like,
analyst that
Hey, Hank, I hate to burst your bubble, but we just did a story about.
Working.
We just did the breaking news mainline story, which is like from the beginning of time, where one organization controls all the politicians because all it does is give them drugs and whores and gets them all on video fucking them. Like, you act like it's not so simple to run this whole thing. Like, we know how men are, if nothing else, right? This is how they think. We know how men are because we know how we are. So we're going to pimp and hoe. Put 10 of these bitches up there and make sure 5 of them are like 17, because we're going to get Donnie and the rest to fuck them all one night at a party, and we're going to get them on video from behind the fucking wall through the picture glass frame, right? And then we're going to come to them. Hey, bro, bad news. That party you were at the other night? Yeah, we threw that purposely to get you to fuck these 17-year-olds. Now you got to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and we're going to show you the tape. And furthermore, there's a 17-year-old there, so you're going to prison. And also now you're going to give us money and fund our causes, and you're going to politically do what we say. You act like this has not been going on from the beginning of time. You act like they didn't all get
I'm
caught.
just saying one of them would say entrapment or try to burn down the place. I'm just saying you can't control everyone the same way. One of them would say entrapment.
Hey, Hank, are you one of those
building,
like goblin that says Jack Talcott is your life coach? Because that could be the problem here, Paul. We could have life coach.
The problem is that I'm not convinced. Therefore, I use Jack Talcott as a life coach. That's a non sequitur.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not convinced by what I laid out for a year and a half and what I can lay out in 5 minutes, you might never be convinced. And you don't need to.
I might, but I watched people
what would have to convince you to know the coordination is happening?
Yeah, like what exactly would you need to see to know that this is all coordinated, all organized, and all run top down based on bribery, corruption, and impulse and compulsion?
Oh, I would need to see psychology actually making some scientific progress so that we know for certain that most of these control mechanisms work.
Like, you got to be joking.
That's what
right
we need to
now.
see.
Are you
right
doing
now?
a
I
bit?
see a replication crisis. They can't keep anything straight in psychology.
Right. So, like, someone totally wouldn't be able to get you if they just came to you tomorrow and said, that Paul and Slave character is a real piece of shit. You're the real star, Hank. We're going to give you $1 million, and we got these 3 white hoes here, and maybe a white man, too, that you can fuck because they're really in love with you. They're not going to get you with something, right? And then, like, somewhere along the way, they're not going to get you with the phone or whatever they gave you doing all of it and then come to you with a bribe, and you're not going to take it, right? It's so difficult to figure out what humans' motivations and intentions are and to work around them and manipulate them.
Yeah.
It's like so difficult.
The
Can't
thing
you
is,
tell?
there comes so much small print that I refuse to sign the damn contract. Don't care about $1 million. They have a whole bunch of bullshit small print.
Yeah, you may
That's
not,
like
and I don't necessarily
more
agree
than I do.
completely, but I'll take your word on that. You may not, but the majority of people obviously are. They have certain intentions and motivations, and they're able to be gamed right out of position because they're selfish, they're greedy, they're desirous, and they're clutching people. So once they're offered certain power, value, and status, they not only will continue to toe the line to keep it, but they'll give up everything in order to avoid losing it.
Yeah. My argument is you can't fool everyone all the time and often enough to control them all.
It's not about everybody. I already said it's a majority. It's a very unhealthy majority. It's not about everybody. Like they say in all these studies, it's about 1 to 3% who do not conform. And it makes sense because when they tested my IQ, coincidentally, again, the synchronicities are all there. I'm in a 97th percentile. Do you think it's a coincidence that I'm one of the 1 to 3% who will not conform, as the psychologists have laid out? When my IQ is 97 percentile, I'm right in the 3% mark, right? There's only 1 to 3% left in that equation. So this is back to the
psychologists say that there's people who won't conform across the spectrum. So,
Hank, you kind of contradict yourself when you say officer. What do you call me now?
Officer Snaps.
Right. Where'd you get that from?
Oh, I mean, I derived it from Boston
coordination.
I literally thought
on
watching on Paul's show.
So how do you think our government, politicians, everything is not coordinated?
You're not letting me finish my sentence. You might put my hands
you literally call me Officer Snaps because of coordinated fuck you snaps movement, right? Coordination. You caught on to the coordinated fuck you snaps movement. So for you to sit here and say there's not coordination in the world and you're coordinating on a fuck you snaps because I go after Pogo Pedos, do you get the ironic thing of what you're saying? There's no coordination, you don't see it, but you're doing it yourself.
Yes, but when I know, since I'm a coordinator, how annoyingly hard it is to coordinate people.
And we're talking about big entities. Like, have you ever seen the news clips where they say it's flooding and then it's like only ankle deep water? Like what they do to life, and that's just mainstream media doing that. Like coordination. Do you not see coordination of, like the casinos, trying to come bet, give her money, and we're gonna take it, but you can win big. Like coordination, dude. Big tech, money, business. Like you don't see or know America's a corporation. Did you know that?
That's not even a coherent sentence. I could see corporations act all the time, but if it's that easy to control people, I need to hire people to come down to my company and train my managers for me. It's not really easy. It's not that simple.
Snap Creature, he just sent me the video of you.
Oh yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, it was talk. They were trying to get me to check you, and I said,
audio. No, we're gonna play the audio. Don't start doing mea culpa. Don't start. Yeah,
I'll stand by what I say.
Framing the clip. It's audio. It's not video. This is just what he sent me. So.
Well, either way, I'll stand by what I say.
No, wait. MP4 is
nothing
video.
New.
No?
You've heard worse from me before.
Right. I'm sure I have. You're completely shameless and have no problem being 2 and 3 different people and striking channels.
Your discernment as well, sir.
Yeah, it is.
Daddy, you got good discernment. So that's what we're getting to point. Discernment. These fucktards. And Hank here's like proving, like you yourself said, Officer Snaps. So you're in a coordinated fuck you snaps movement. But you don't think our governments are coordinating against the citizens of the world? But you're joining a coordinated fuck you snaps movement, Hank? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck, dude? Wake up. Does your God or my God or any God or creator, the real God, stand for that bullshit?
You don't have.
What's the definition of natural, Officer Snaps? What is your definition of natural?
Just approve or disapprove of anything, my friend.
Yeah, what is your definition of natural, Officer
Like, what
Snaps?
God are you talking about?
Hey, if you want to tell me what natural is, it's definitely not 2 dingleberries fucking each other like you think is okay. That's not natural,
I
Hank.
believe in natural law.
Yeah, he does not know what he means by.
What about?
Hey, I'm not the one saying Adam and Steve are okay. That's unnatural.
Hold on. What about having other dudes fuck your wife? Is that in the Bible? Dumb fuck.
Yeah, it actually has been. Yeah.
Where is that in the Bible?
Well, I mean, the shared wives and things like that. Old Testament versus New Testament as well, though.
So practicing cuckoldry is allowed in the Bible.
Well, it wasn't like endorsed or anything.
That's what
Old Testament. There.
That's what your buddy Paul endorses, but you promote all sorts of sexual.
Dude, I call his ass out on that shit too. Fuck Paul when it comes down to that.
You sit next to godless motherfuckers and promote.
I call Paul out on that shit too.
You're a bitch ass motherfucker, and you don't own it, bro.
No, I've called Paul out on that shit many times.
No, you don't. You just sit there.
Sure, I'll call him out today if he brought it up.
You call motherfuckers daddy who want to fuck your bitch because you're a dumb. That's right, dude.
Okay.
That's how you are, dude. Dude.
I don't think so.
You looking a little light, Holmes.
All I know is when you said Hank was donking on me, remember the only donking he does is on top of another man's penis because he's a gay Fruit
You're a
Loop
little light in
witch.
the loafers and you let other people fuck your bitch. Doesn't mean that it goes on.
But I'm not the one fucking like that. You're the one fucking wondering if your bitch is even coming home or not with her anymore. I wasn't even in that position. You're the one who had bitch problems, not me.
Oh, really?
Like, you're the one worried about if your bitch. You're the one cuckolding, basically.
You didn't say some bitch ruined your life. You didn't say some bitch ruined your life.
This is why
crying about it on the
wants to run me over with a car.
Turn on your camera off to snap, let the audience decide.
Isn't that what you said, Snafu? That some girl ruined your life. She took you to court. She fucking got an abortion, all this stuff. Isn't that what you said? Crying about it. Say how bitches ruined your life. Now you're a big towel faggot. Isn't that what you said, Snafu?
No bitch ruined my life, but Big Cow is definitely something that is worth it. Men going their own way, men guarding their own wallet. Yep. Big Cow is definitely worth it.
All you do is cry about how bitches are manipulating you on the internet. You have no
bitches be bitching, dude.
You hang out with sexual degenerates, okay, and then you blame other people.
It says the guy hanging out with the guy who has a sex torso next to him, busting out on the internet. Who brags and has a gay smile because he's gay.
There's a guy who goes on a
panel. Says TML, the one talking about God.
Says the guy who goes on the panel with people who say you should share your wife with other people. Right.
Okay, if you want me to correct that with Paul, I have no problem telling him
Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and correct that before you come over.
Okay, Snafu. So go ahead and correct me right now and tell me how someone's not sharing your
belief.
Shut up and let me finish.
I'll correct you. Let me correct you.
Shut up and let me finish. Shut up and let me finish. You're babbling. Let me finish. You and Machine Cries and all the rest of the clowns on here, come on right now and correct me that someone isn't sharing your women right now. I want to see how much you're going to lie to yourselves or to everyone else. Many of you don't even know you're doing it, right? Let's be real about it. Many of you don't even know that your woman is for the streets, as they say, or just has somebody in mind who they think is more valuable and respectable and attractive than you. Wow, that's so hard to imagine, huh? So get out of your pride and ego. You're all sharing women because never once have you got a woman and she not up and left and go to fuck somebody else. Where do you think Abby went to go sit with herself? No, she went to go cry on some guy's dick while she insulted you in a live chat. Get a clue.
See, I think, Paul, this is evidence that you will do anything to get through shadow banning. You know what I'm saying? You're going to set up your OnlyFans, Paul Unshaved. You know what I mean? This is the perfect segue into the next bit. You know what I mean?
Right. That's not necessarily cucking to accept that a woman gets to choose at the end of the day. And if a woman wants to up and leave and go fuck with somebody else, she has that prerogative. Right. So you want to simp on and trick on and try to manipulate, control, and dominate a woman's ego. I say go. Fly free. I'm not here to keep anybody manipulated. I'm not here to keep anybody stuck with me. If a bitch, as you say, in quotes, doesn't want to be up under me, she's got no business being there. I got no business having her there. See, many beta boys won't throw these females out or push them to the side when they need to be checked and pushed aside. You go to running and chasing after them and neglecting your work and your purpose and success in life. Don't tell me about cucking. What were you doing when you were crying on your live? Abby, come home. Abby, come home, while she's fucking some other guy. You're the cuck, not me. I'm pure pimping at this point. Proper instruction motivates people. And also control your dick, and also control your mind and heart, and also control your life and your purpose, and also don't let these goofy bitches run you ragged, because they don't respect you for it anyway. They'd respect you more if you got the fuck up, dusted yourself off, got back to your shit, got on your game, and elevated. She might come back without you begging, right? So let's get really real with ourselves and each other. I don't need to cuck. I just need to focus on my purpose and meaning. What's meant for me will stay. What's not will go.
Well, obviously, you saw what happened. He tried setting me up. I wasn't even thinking or talking about you. And I said, I'd call him out if I felt I was wrong. We have different thoughts on that. But that whole thing was because of his personal issue with the girl shit with you. He was trying to set me up in the whole Paul thing because I saw what was going on there. But yeah, I told him I'll call his ass out if I feel I need to. But these motherfuckers are trying to get me to like say something about his issue. But I told him the same thing. Your bitch fucking left you while you're crying, saying, "Oh, she's coming home," and she's probably fucking with another dude. Like him about butt hurt, but he set me up to go at you. You heard the whole way that conversation went down. So yeah, I got no shame in my game. It's all digital experience, all out there. All you motherfuckers remember, crew's watching too. We record shit too. You dumb fucks. It's nothing Paul hasn't heard before. Told him broke bad for life. Even though he's kind of telling me why I shouldn't, and blah, blah. And I'm listening here and there, but truth is
I didn't tell you why you shouldn't for me. I told you why I believe you shouldn't for you. That's
right.
You.
Which means I'm listening to what you told me. I remember that I remember that conversation very well.
Right. So all he's doing, like they all do, is projecting, right?
Right.
We don't have the same.
They're trying to set me up because they see that you and I have common grounds of understanding, but you still check me when I need it, blah, blah. And he set me up. He was trying to set me up, and I said what I said. No shame in the game, but obviously that's I'm surprised they don't come up here and say it to your face. I think they met all you motherfuckers in chat saying that shit. Why don't you tell Paul how you feel? I mean,
yeah, not being a hater is not
publicly. That's why they
failing
show the video.
to hate is not being a cuck, right? If somebody comes along and has better conversation, understanding, wisdom, application, process, procedure, lifestyle, and a woman I'm dealing with wants to go deal with them, how am I going to be upset about that? How am I going to hate on that? It is what it is. See, they just can't get right. They can't get comfortable with the uncomfortable. They can't check their ego themselves and God, right?
Do you think it's jealousy?
Well, yeah. I mean, a part of it is that we all have that. You know, I've experienced that. I mean, listen, if you're dealing with any woman who's on any level attractive, she's going to get hit on rather regularly at some point.
Huh.
So what are you going to do?
Once your bitch does a phone test with you, like one hundo, like, like the phone loyalty test shit, like straight up, hand me that shit. Let me go through your shit. You go through my, like if she's going to hide that shit, that's the one way to tell the best way. Like, so to speak, but you shouldn't even have to do that.
It's typically not in a woman's nature who's not, on some trip with her daddy to be running around town fucking with a whole bunch of men. There may be a whole bunch of men pursuing her, but she's not going to be available for them. She's usually got one that she's, on with or on about, so to speak.
My message to TML and Jack Talcott will fit in this category. The reason you tried to trigger on me with the whole Paul thing and your chick thing is because you're triggered that, and this goes for you, Talcott, your own family members, your own girlfriends, whatever the fuck it is, have left you, and then you come to this digital experience and you're still bitter and jealous and shit. But you motherfuckers fix your own shit. It ain't my fault. It ain't Paul's fault. It ain't anyone else's fault. Handle your own shit, That's
right. If you look around and there was one woman there and only one woman and she's gone now, and there's children there and they're gone now, and your house is on the way out or never was, and you got no career and prospects, and you don't really like yourself and feel good from the inside out and about your life, and you don't feel in alignment, it's probably you, bro. It's probably not anybody else. As soon as you make that acceptance and awareness is the quicker you can change that, and then those set of circumstances will change. But again, it's different between somebody who's hating and somebody who's elevating. They're not looking at how it's everyone else's fault. They're looking at what everyone else is doing different from them to get different results and then activating that sense of self. See, you're the one out there with that twin flame garbage crying to your woman in the chat who you never probably should have been with from the beginning, talking about we're meant for each other. How do you know what's meant for you till how it ends up? You're going off of feelings. You're appealing to authority or emotion constantly in your life, right? How do you know what's meant for you just because in what you feel? You felt a lot of times in your life shit was meant for you and it didn't pan out that way. So the reality of it is I don't do that twin flame looking for my other half nonsense. What's meant for me is what comes and doesn't leave. And the only way you're authentically going to know what's meant for you is what comes and doesn't leave by you authentically being yourself, not cucking to that bitch in a live chat saying I'm cucking. You're a little confused.
I got to be 100% honest with you, Paul. That kind of, it didn't catch me off guard to think about it now and to think of when it happened. But the second it happened, it did, because I was there because of Hank and optics and blah, blah. Me and Mr. Hanky Poo been running around. But TML, for him to bring, I didn't even know he had like bitterness towards you. I didn't know he was like, I didn't know.
They're all bitter toward me because I've all made
when
a
he said
comment
that,
at times.
You know, I was kind of like, because you could listen. Usually I'm like, blah, blah, blah,
You
blah,
get a
blah.
headset,
I was
bro?
quiet for a second because I was kind of.
You get a
I didn't know
headset?
he was bitter towards you.
Can you get a headset one of these days? Could you afford it?
Not yet.
Do we have to put together a fund to get you a fucking earbuds or what?
Maybe, probably, but no.
So
I
you
could
can
get
hear
Where
me.
did I send the money to? I could just put the whole bill myself.
No, I could get some headset. I could probably buy some cheap headbuds like Hank's wearing.
I got no headphones.
Where I send the money to, I could flip the whole bill myself if necessary.
But that did catch me off guard. I didn't know TML was bitter at you. To be honest, and I
You're
usually
all
pay
bitter
attention.
at me
I knew
because
he had
I've
issues, but I
spoken.
didn't think he would bring it online like that.
You don't think that you're subconsciously on some level, even if it's slightly bitter toward me because of what I spoke about you in the past? I'm sure it's there.
Well, I kind of have that like attitude of, you know how it is. You know, one day you have to go with the day each day. You know, like, you know, I still could approach you for canteen. Like I feel comfortable enough to be like, hey, motherfucker, you front me a noodle and I got you too next week. You know,
because ultimately anything I've spoke
like, you know
about
what I'm
you,
saying?
anything I spoke about you or anyone else is either true or it's not. If it's true, then you can change it. It's not going to change the fact that I may have a care for you. I may be able to kick it with you and we may be able to have common bonds. But again, at times I will speak what I see about patterns and themes that come up over and over again with folks who experience with me, and they catch resentments and bitterness because they think I'm hating on them. Nah, I'm exposing your weakness. Once you shore that up, you're going to be better than ever. You should be thanking me, not hating on me.
Right. I just wanted to point out that because usually, you know, I'm blah, 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 blah right away. And I kind of was caught off guard for a second, but then I wasn't because I know TML runs with these cupcakes like Hank and others. That's the reason I was there. Hank's been cupcaking.
Yeah, but what's
it
your
with
beef with Hank,
part.
man? What's your deal with Hank? Like, what's Hank's, like,
The
what's his
cupcakeness.
problem?
The cupcakeness. Like,
Well, because he's not constantly in chaos and controversy and trying to.
Jack Talcott is his life
I'm getting
coach.
a headache. You're giving me a headache because I'm having to swim upstream again. You need to get headphones so I can politely interrupt. And you could.
Okay, the only thing I gotta say, Hank, Jack Talcott is Hank's life coach. Just think about that.
Okay, that's not true. You made that true, and now you're fighting from a place and resisting me and the interaction.
Ask Hank. Ask Hank out of his own mouth.
He
He'll
just shook
tell you.
his head left and right while smiling ear to ear because he thinks you're insane.
Hank, tell him that Jack Talcott. See, tell him.
He's
Hank,
shaking his head up and down now because he agrees with me.
No, he's admitted Jack Talcott is his life coach, just like Goblin and others.
Is it possible he's doing a? Is it possible he's doing a bit non-bit?
No, not this one. You can tell when he's fucking around and when he's real. That's why he's on these panels cupcaking it.
Yeah, no, I don't. It doesn't make any sense. Hank has a job. Hank has an interesting wardrobe. Hank's a happy man by all accounts, even without the opposite sex or really any sex in his life. Jack Talcott's none of those things. Why would someone who's already doing way better than Jack Talcott go to Jack Talcott for coaching?
I
think you're a little bit
confused. Shit. I don't get it.
Hank is Jack Talcott's life coach, and Hank probably has bigger genitals than Jack Talcott. So he's better off there as well. He probably has more money, more options, better career standing, better friendships, even if he has few of them, right? Even if he doesn't have any friendships in his life, he's received well here consistently everywhere he goes. So Jack Talcott doesn't have that quality of life.
There's clips of me calling Jack Talcott a fake cult leader. There's clips of me saying that.
So
and now Jack's going to be pissed.
God damn it, Paul.
Hey, what do you think about your other buddy Hostate now that he's an admitted Fed, Proud Boy, linked, connected? You know,
that's the thing I don't think about him. That's the thing I don't think about him. I already made too much room for my liking in my brain. I've already made too much room for my liking in my brain for Jack Talcott, who I think of from time to time because he's a fascinating character.
I know, but you're not cupcaking.
I'm not making any more room for the rest of these folks. I want to keep some level of my dignity and/or sanity.
Well, I get that, but you're not over there on the panels. That's why I asked Hank. Now that he knows,
I know, and you shouldn't be over there either. Because if Hank was there and you weren't there, you wouldn't know he was there, and you'd have nothing to talk about concerning them. See how that works? I know.
Charlie
it's the mirror effect, right? When you're doing what he's doing, but you got different reasons, and somehow it leads to the same outcome for me and everyone else. See, do you ever notice that Hank, like, regardless of where he goes, doesn't go everywhere else talking shit and spreading feces and creating gossip and controversy and making false claims? You do that rather consistently. So you're both in the same places doing the same thing.
Master to bust nuts on plastic torsos.
Okay.
Well,
again, you might want to get a plastic torso and bust some nuts on it. You might relax and calm down and stop acting like a fool. I got a couple of plastic torsos out back. You can wipe them down and use them if you want.
You can't wipe them down yourself and send them sterile.
Well, so you want me to do all the work? You want me to let you use my plastic torsos?
Your
you want
plastic
me to
torsos,
clean them up and wipe them down, and you know you're going to send them back soiled. You're not gonna extend the same courtesy. You're going to send them back soiled, so I'll clean them twice.
Well, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, you're a very lazy person. I did. I know you better than you know yourself. Apparently. This person's confused by this. I'm confused by this. It's not meant to be understood. These are very troubled people, ma'am or sir.
Oh, that's a sir.
Yeah, that's a sir. I know him.
That's Caucasian Sasquatch. Yeah, that's straight shilling. But yeah, Sasquatch is from over in my chat. But I had the serious question from a couple of streams ago. Now, is Hank going to be a candidate for Moose's woman? Because I think that was unresolved from a couple live streams ago. Is that in the cards anywhere that Hank would be a candidate for Moose?
Did you hear Moose this morning saying that he prefers women who leave much to be desired with the imagination? He's not for women who are like showing themselves online or anywhere, their body or anything. And I'm like, Moose.
Yeah.
I'm like, Moose, you don't have women in your life who could do that. Why are you speaking on something that is not an option for you? You know? I don't know. Maybe that's being rude and mean. Go ahead.
I've always been attracted to sexy, confident women myself.
I got it.
Right. If you're going to talk about what you like and don't like, then the people in your life have to at least have had at some point the option to do that. Or else you're talking about an experience you don't even have the option of having. Like if no one wants to look at you naked, then what's the difference if you want to be looked at naked or not? You're downing an experience you haven't even had an option to have. It's just it's also kind of like this riding the line between what they think is righteous, virtuous, and ethical versus just neurotic. Like from the beginning of time, a woman's body has been seen as a work of art, even a man's body. How many places do you go where, that's gay because the guy is like built like stone and they got his little pecker out and he's carved in stone and he's a conqueror. So man and woman physical form on some level has been considered an art. And then you guys like hypersexualized it and then made it this neuroses because you're all unreconciled in your life. See, when kings were kings and men were men, they weren't neurotic about everything because they expressed completely. So yeah, they had, multiple wife situation, a community air, and sort of energy. And there wasn't all this competition and neuroses and fear as I see it. Right. It was just kind of understood. We have these certain desires, these certain impulses and compulsions, and there's a certain level of beauty to even the ugliness of it. Right. It's called reconciliation and resolution. No, you want to migtard and act like you figured something out. You're just unreconciled. You got some psychology, sociology work to do on yourself. You might need a therapist.
I was thinking though, it's in your backstage. I had to slip in your backstage again. Damn it. I keep doing it today. Even Hostate admitted he would fuck Tommy. Like, it's all there. And I think Hank, you're
you got a bunch of men on here who say I'm weird for wanting to do all things with more than one woman while they regularly sit on panels for 8 hours filled with men that they joke about wanting to fuck. Who's the weird one again? Who's the dysfunctional one again?
And he said it very clearly. I probably would fuck. You could see he looked up, kind of thought about, I'd fuck Tommy.
Right. Well, because when you're a beta male with a beta girl and you're in a beta monogamous relationship where you can't be yourself completely, your sex drive starts to invert and act out. So you start to go around telling all the boys on panel you want to fuck them, but it's just a joke, right? Maybe you really do. I suggest that woman's ego has you in a cage, and now you have a perverse psychology, and you project that onto me when it's perfectly supernatural and normal for a man to want multiple women. You could argue it's perfectly natural and normal from an animal level for multiple women to want to be with one man. There's a whole different energy that starts to come about from the inside out, right? And this is what they can't or won't move into to understand. They'll condemn it while they project onto it and then reveal their dysfunction and perversion. Your thoughts, gentlemen? I think we just need to wrap up. We're at the 3rd hour mark. So I guess final concepts, if you will.
Yeah. So in that clip you played, I actually said in the clip that Paul has made no requirements that I know of to share our wives with him.
Say that again?
I said you made no requirements that I know of to share our wives with you. So, and I also said that you pretty much treat officers.
Yeah, I didn't make any requirements. The universe did. And I didn't necessarily say that I'm going to share a wife with somebody. Yeah. I'm saying I'm open to the idea that if a community came about and we were all honorable, equitous people and we all had a mutual connection or understanding, that it's likely that that's bound to happen at some point, and I can't be combative toward that idea.
That seems reasonable. That seems reasonable.
The woman is going to choose. But again, based on the discernment of that woman and what I ascertain objectively, I may not want to continue in an arrangement like that. Right? If I'm going to be open to that, it would have to be in a communal setting where there was probably 2 to 1 women to men. And with that said, the man was equally honor able, presentable, and had an understanding. And when he came forth, I would see a reflection of self. Right? Not that I can't see that with everyone anyway, or the potential for that, but I think you know what I'm saying, right? Mm-hmm. Because then all you have then is a battle partner. You have a community partner, right? It's not even necessarily about wife sharing. It's when you're on the ground in a community, you're not down about another man coming into the situation, as long as all the resources are shared equitably and as long as nobody's doing without, right? And it makes sense. But those are big ifs. So, yeah, I mean, again, this is tribal living from the beginning of time. Men were not fighting each other for the women. There's enough women to go around, so to speak. These are our children, our resources, and I need more men to carry this shit and to fight a war potentially. So these are allies and fellow, brothers, uncles, fathers, however you want to put it. These are men who are going to be in these children's life as an example of masculinity. So if we could show young ones the idea of sharing everything and not competing amongst each other in a dysfunctional way and not being divisive and neurotic, I think that it leads to more kind of genuine love or care and connection and bond and purpose, because we got all the nonsense out of the way.
And Hank, you just got to look at the optics here. Why is this subject even brought up? You and I were having a conversation, right? Why did TML bring up Paul's ideology when it comes to it? Because TML is a broken beta bitch that his own woman left him. And so he's going to look at fucking Paul or someone who does present, just triggered. That's the only reason we even talk about TML got triggered like a hoe and brought Paul
Right.
up.
He's telling me about cucking when this woman here I'm with has facilitated a walk with me where she's open to people she knows coming into the situation to experience. Does it mean that it's all based around one physical, worldly, sexual idea? No. That's obviously part of it. We're grown people. But the point is, you got one you can't get, keep, or have who you haven't given nothing to leave off with. She's already bounced on you. And I got more coming into the situation. So how am I cucking? Exactly.
Yeah, to my recollection, Officer Snaps, you brought it up.
I didn't bring up, dude. We watched it and listened to it. I was calling you a gay fucking witch, which I've got good. And DML's like, why don't you hold Paul accountable? And he brought the woman thing.
All right, well, just let it go, man. You keep cycling and spinning on this shit. What is your fixation and obsession with these people in their life?
Well, that's because he's cucking with some fed.
I just don't care. Like I'll speak on it because you bring it up to point out the dynamic, but I really don't give a fuck, bro. He's a loser, failure, beta male in a dark hole going nowhere. Why do I even need to put my time, energy, attention on it?
Oh, I thought you meant Hank. Why am I like always giving Hank shit? That's why, because he's
just saying, like all these people, man, they're not in my awareness. I don't watch them or listen to them. The fact that you do is okay. Why do you have to bring it into my awareness when I don't give a fuck about these people? Because they don't give a fuck about the truth in themselves. They're a waste of my time, energy, and attention. I really can only use them to speak on inherent power and value dynamics, psychology, and sociology. And it just starts to become the same old fucking rap.
Hank, that statement you made was absolutely fucking wrong. No, we just watched it. TML's broke ass, hoe ass, fucking single ass, bitch ass, fake Muslim guru ass is triggered. And so he brought Daddy Paul up because his hoe left him. And that's where that whole thing fucking got brought up. That's why we talked about it. And that's the optics, that whole thing. Because you notice, I was like, okay, I'll tell Paul what the fuck's up. But like, that's the only reason is he's a broken hoe that lost his bitch and can't keep it, and he got triggered.
Okay. What I'm saying is, if the controllers can manage people as easily as Paul says they can,
hold on, I need to cuck. One of these women wants to bang me on New York. I'm cucking again. I don't know.
Isn't Paul Senior in New York?
Oh my God, you're so fucking obnoxious. Give me the final word. I'm leaving. I can't deal with you. You're constantly fucking yammering and yelling and screaming. I don't know how your mic is still so loud. I have you down 80% on volume. You're such an obnoxious fucking cretin. It just can't handle it.
That comment was foreskin shadowing for your OnlyFans. Paul Unshaved. So you get around the shadow band. This is a perfect solution for everything. And then we can all just hop over there, talk about what we want. Nobody's going to care. And then we get the message out.
I like porn box better than OnlyFans.
All right, give me the final word, please. My interest is waning as we speak. I'm completely checking out here. The conversation, the non-versation has devolved once again as usual. It's going nowhere, and we're like 23 minutes past the final hour. So let's do us all a favor. We'll leave it where it's at. We'll pick up tomorrow. Yeah.
Hey, I'll take last word if everybody else wants to go first, please.
Well, I'll take the opportunity to go first. Hold on, Snafu. Just a second.
Hogan agendas are in play. It's very coordinated, Hank. That's my last word.
All right, we'll see you later.
Well, thank you, Snafu, for being disruptive and kind of derailing things for a little bit. But I had some real stuff to say, but I'll keep it real short so we can get out of here. But I did have a cop watch that I did You know, I wasn't able to go live on YouTube, which is how I usually do my cop watches, but it was rather interesting. If anybody was curious why there's a link that doesn't have access in your chat, you know, I was just saying that because it was kind of awkward. I usually go live on YouTube, but I didn't. But I was out and about. I was applying myself. That's what I was doing today. And with that, I'll drop out. Everybody, thanks for having me up on panel, Hank. For the first time being on panel, I think, with you. Paul, do this again some other day.
All right, Mr. Joshua, we'll see you later. If the folks on Broken System want to join us, we're here daily. It's proper instruction motivates people at Pimp Unslaved. I'll throw the banner up because I got to just repeat over and over again. Apparently, I have to mind control the way the masters do, where folks just don't know what's going on, or they're so apathetic they can't even get themselves to do something different, like subscribe to a second channel and join us daily. So takes a lot. You got to really earn your listener in this game, and that's a challenge that I'm up to, I believe. So I'm in it for the long game. Go ahead, Wizard Creature. Oh no, Wizard Creature has last word.
This is going after.
Go ahead, Frank.
If the controllers or that's good at controlling people, I want the power for myself, so I can finally break free of the B system.
Right. All right, I'm throwing you out. Hank, everybody. Wizard Creature.
I'm going to close out with a little bit of scripture one more time. Leviticus 25:44. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondsmaids. The importance of this verse is that you have to recognize there are two types of people. There are the bondsmen and the bondsmaids, and those that are buying and selling them. You pick. I love you, but I don't give a rat's ass whether you love me back. So may God bless you and have a good night. We'll see you later.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wizard Creature. All right, folks, resounding success. That's what I'm calling it. God of all media has done it again. A little bit of an uphill battle at times, but that's how it goes when you're facilitating this experience, it seems. I think I've gotten better and better at it. I want to believe that. I think the content is better for whatever it's worth. Folks continually get value here that's verified. I get value here that's validated. So that's 1 for 1. All right, I'm going to take my leave. I look forward to being back, as always, 7 days a week. We're over 500 days straight right now and counting. Somewhere between the 12 and 2 MDT hour, as always. I will notify you of any potential unforeseen events. So get some rest, get some sustenance if you haven't been productive yet today. I don't know what the fuck you're still doing there looking at me. Get up, get out, go down there, have the conversations you need to have, get the completion within self, complete with outside of self, and manifest your destiny. All right, I'm out of here. We stand with Israel. We stand with Ukraine, whoever we're told to. We're good slaves out here. Mazel tov, people. Unslaved one out.